For a basic blonde retouch, you're gonna section your hair off into 4 quadrants. 4 quadrants is just splitting the head in half. Middle part, front to back. Then you're gonna split the head in half again the opposite way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be showing you this application on Bertha today. And towards the end, I'll also show you on a portion of my hair. You can see Bertha's new growth. This is her root color, her natural hair color, and this is the artificial color, the bleach blonde, bleach orange. We're using one of my favorites. I'll link it below. This is Bright White. It's from Sally's. You can also grab it on Amazon, but it is a cream lightener. Basically, it's bleach with oil in it. You can use it in foils, but it's mainly geared for people putting bleach directly on the scalp like we're gonna do today. I mixed up the lightener in a 1 to a 1.5 ratio. 1 part lightener to 1.5 parts developer. Typically this is a 1 to 2 ratio, so 1 scoop of lightener, 2 scoops of developer, what? 2 scoops of developer. A little less on the developer today because we want this to be thick. We don't want this to slippery slope anywhere and run into the previously colored blonde hair. You've sectioned your hair off into 4 quadrants. So now you're going to take conditioner, Olaplex, and put it on the blonde parts of your hair. Not only is this going to give you a conditioning treatment while you're doing this process, but it's also going to make sure that if you accidentally get lightener or bleach on the previously bleached part, it's going to protect it. What happens when you overlap bleach here, bleach on top, and you keep doing that, eventually it's going to snap and break. So you have to be really careful when we're doing this, that you don't overlap this until the very end. So this is just a little extra step to make sure that doesn't happen. To start, we're gonna take a super thin subsection, following the part line, horizontal. We're going to apply the lightener to only the dark parts. You're being really careful to just meet the 2 colors, dark to light, without overlapping. It is difficult, just take your time. Use a lower volume developer in your formulation so you can take your time. Most of the time I'll leave the hairline out and do this last. It tends to be the most fragile part of the hair. The lightener should have bled through the other side because your sections are super thin. You should be able to see through them, but you still need to go through and do the bottom. Another reason why you put conditioner on the hair, because you are going to be laying this over on the other side of the head. We should be wearing gloves, by the way. These are invisible gloves. You can put a piece of tin foil here to protect the hair. You're not mashing this down like this. It's a nice laying it over with an air pocket. You never want a compact hair color or lightener. It needs air. Another very thin subsection. Leave the hairline out if yours is damaged. Going in with lightener, this lightener can touch the scalp. Trying to meet the 2 colors without overlapping the best we can. Flip this over, tappy the bottom if you need to. Make sure you're giving it enough space to breathe. Okay, this mannequin looks crazy as heck with this, however this came. I got this off Alibaba and it shows. But it is really cool because it has the it has the gray It has the gray quadrant. I can't speak today again. Has the gray quadrant. So we can go over some gray hair tips. Here we go again, covering the brown, meeting in the middle, flipping it over. Whoop, hold up, sorry. Got too much hair. Tappy. It should saturate through, but just make sure everything's covered. And you just repeat this all the way down. Now, if for some reason your scalp is burning, which is a common issue when you're putting bleach directly on the scalp, you can use Sweet and Low. You can put that directly on your scalp. I have no idea how or why that works, but it does stop the burning. I'm just going to do half the quadrant here so we can move on to my hair. Let this process. You will want to put a plastic bag over this. Lightener dries out and you don't want this drying out. You need it to stay kind of moist. Sitting under heat or going outside when the sun is out, I personally don't do it. But there are lots of people who recommend heat. That's just your preference. And the processing time is your eyeballs. You take a towel, swipe it off, take a visual look, and see if it's the color you want. Now remember, it's probably going to be a shade of yellow or orange. You're going to have to tone this, unless you like that yellow-orange look. There's nothing wrong with it. So moving on to my hair. I have roots, as you can see. But this type of application would not be for me because I usually do highlights. It will work for these front 2 pieces where we did the money piece where it's solid blonde. It has a large root area. Take a look at that. Look at the roots. So to do this, we're going to do a triangle section, just like we did on the first application. Match it on the other side. So here we can see the root area. So we need to put lightener here so this looks like one solid color without damaging this, causing it to snap by overlapping. For this, I'm going to use a really small angled brush, and I'm going to start by outlining what I'm trying to do. Oops, really? We're already making a mistake? We just started. I'm gonna outline this, get all those little baby hairs. We've got a super thin subsection, and you're basically just coloring, finding the brown part and meeting it to the blonde part, being very careful. Usually in the last 3 to 5 minutes, we'll blend the two together. I've got some on here. That's where the conditioner would come in handy because I made a mistake. Another thin subsection. Top should have ran through the bottom, just tapping the bottom just to make sure. You don't want any dark spots. You can also go through and cross-check this. So if your lines are horizontal, you're gonna go through and pull vertical lines to make sure you're not gonna have any dark spots. So you would go, whoop, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. And towards the end, I usually outline the quad again, which I also forgot to do on the mannequin. Processing time is again the eyeballs. Back to Bertha here. It's the last couple minutes of our process. So lightly doing one of these, taking the same thin sections and just blending that line. Take your brush vertically and just do one of these. I know that does contradict everything I just said, where you're not gonna touch the line, it's gonna cause it to snap, break, all that jazz. Since the processing time on that is going to be so low, it's gonna be 2 to 3 minutes. For the most part, it's not gonna do any damage as long as you're using a lower volume developer. But it's really gonna help blend these two lines. Oftentimes when you do this, you'll have a band of fresh lightener and old lightener. So you wanna make sure you're kind of blending it so when you put a toner on, it's a beautiful solid color. I typically don't grab any new lightener when we swipe it through to meet the disconnect. I just use whatever's on top just to make sure it's not overloading it with lightener on that fragile area. And Bertha's looks good. Now you can see that I missed a spot. You can see that Bertha's hair is one solid color. Everything blends, there's no disconnect of obvious, I colored my hair today. This is what my hair looks like. We've got a solid-ish blonde. It is a little darker at the root, more of a yellow tone. So when I do tone it, I'm gonna tone the root area first and lightly kiss it through the ends. Also, this money piece will blend a lot better when I go through and retouch some highlights here, so it's not a huge disconnect. I don't know why I blow dried them Tinkerbell style. Anyway, that wraps up our blonde root retouch. Quick little recap. Remember that this is only for solid blondes. If you have one color of blonde and you have a band of roots, this is for you. Sectioning it into 4 quads, putting conditioner Olaplex on the blonde part first to condition your hair, and if any lightener accidentally touches it, you make a mess. It's gonna help protect the hair. Horizontal subsections. So in the back, that's going to look like this. Ding, 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 ding. Not slamming it to the head. You wanna allow this to have room to breathe. You're covering just the brown parts. Remember, it's just kind of like paint by numbers. You're only painting the dark part. Put a cap over it. Processing time is a visual. You're looking at it. Once you have 3 to 5 minutes left, you're gonna blend the two lines. Where dark meets light, you're gonna blend this line together. You can use your hands. Remember, you're wearing gloves. Once you're happy with a level of lift, you're going to shampoo, condition. You can tone it if you want. Oh, also very thin lines or subsections. When you're taking your subsections, the hair that you're coloring, you have a section, you're making a smaller section, a subsection. This hair needs to be so thin you could read your book through it. You want the lightener to penetrate the top and the bottom, so apply it to the top, flip it over, tap the root. It should bleed through the other side. If you go in with thick old big girl sections, you are going to have a lot of dark holes, a lot of splotches like this. And you're gonna have to go back and redo it. It's not a huge deal. If you make a mistake, go back, take a Q-tip, a mascara wand, and do it. Sweet and low if it's burning your scalp. Try to use a cream-based lightener if you can, because it has the oil in it to protect your scalp from burning. Also, you never want to comb through your hair while you have lightener in it. You could accidentally scratch your scalp, the lightener gets in, it's gonna burn, it's gonna hurt.